Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wheelchair Tech Friday. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's really important. It might be a little bit low tech and simple, but it is crucial for us, for you, and for me to find ways to be as visible as possible, especially in our wheelchairs when we are crossing a parking lot, when we are crossing a road, when we're on sidewalks and we have to get off of the sidewalk and go on the street for a little bit and get back onto the sidewalk. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because the statistics of us getting run over is pretty high in the United States. It shouldn't be. You know, we're a first world country. We have all the technology in the world, and we're still getting run over. So if you and I can figure this out and figure a way of being more visible, the best. That is the best. And one of the reasons is because, here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we do have some trouble, and I know the police are cracking down on it, but we have a lot of people who are just driving through red lights. They're just, they don't care. And so in that case, there's not a whole lot we can do. There's not a whole lot that any pedestrian can do, and including wheelchair users. So, but however, let's say that case didn't exist for a moment, and it's just regular traffic and respectable people driving. Then it's important for us to do everything possible to be visible. You know, on my wheelchair, I have, you all know, I have reflective stickers all over the place. I have red on the back and I have white on the side and white on the front. So usually, in parking lots, I will light up like a Christmas tree so they can't say, oh, I didn't see her. My wheelchair is black, so the whole frame is black. So obviously at night I'm going to be seen less. A wheelchair is a little hard to not see to begin with, but however, some people are just distracted and will hit us for whatever reason. So we are smaller, so we're seated and we're on wheels. Now this is for both manual wheelchairs and power wheelchairs. We got to figure out, even though it might be or feel like it's a little dorky, because my pastor said, "Hey, Lisa, you should wear a flag on your wheelchair," and my brain said, "Oh, that'll be dorky." That's what I said, and I didn't do it. So, and guess what? The other day, I almost got run over by an idiot who was backing out in incredible speed. I mean, you don't do that to begin with in a parking lot, but he just tore out of his parking spot, and I just, by a hair, I got out of there by a hair, and I'm here. Otherwise, if I had frozen, if I had gotten fearful and not moved, sometimes when we see danger coming, we just clamp up. If I had done that, he would have hit me, and I would have gone flying with my wheelchair and all. Woo! So, and who knows where I'd be right now, but it was, I was rattled without a doubt. I was pretty rattled. So I decided, okay, that's it. I'm getting a flag. So I did. And I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. This is more so for a power wheelchair, but I think it would work for a manual wheelchair as well. I got the clamp type, so you screw it on, and then it's a telescope type rod. So that way I can just bring it down, take the flag off, and I'm done. So I don't have to wear it. I don't have to use it all the time when I'm going out and I know I'm going to be on the road and crossing sidewalks and streets and parking lots. Then yes, then I'll put it up with the flag on and away I go. So it's kind of cool in that sense. And the flag is kind of a bright orange, and it has our symbol on there. So, and you just slip it on and it has a little string there. You can tighten it. So, and it's plasticky. So it, even if it rained or is misty or whatever, or it's snowing, it won't get wet. It won't get all soggy and so. So even though I don't like it, it's on. And what I like about it is it has a telescope type rod, and I can just move it out of the way. But, what kind of ideas can you come up with? You might say, oh, it's dorky, or I don't want to use that, or nah, whatever. But you and I have to figure out, and to support our wheelchair buddies, to figure out ways to not get run over. Is just the statistics are crazy. And that's every year. And so how can we reduce those numbers until the states and the counties realize they need to improve the streets and the crossways, and there are bike lanes that we can use, but can they put that everywhere? I don't think so. Can they improve the crosswalks? Yes, they can improve the crosswalks and make sure it is safe for us. And for the blind, and for, because I'm sure the blind also get hit and run over, because they can't see, and I'm one who I have hearing loss on top of it. So one of my issues is that I don't hear well when there's noise all around me. My cochlear implants don't tell me if the sound is over here or the sound is over here or behind me. I can't figure that out at all. It's just noise all around me. So even though, I have my head on a swivel, sometimes something will approach me from behind, and they won't understand why I'm not turning around to see where they're at. And it's just, I don't hear them. Their sound just blends into everything. So on top of the fact that, I'm in a wheelchair, and just put that on top of noise and sounds of where are the cars, where are they coming from. I lost that, so it's frustrating. So I know this truck tore out of there. I was like, what the heck? Where did this guy come from? So even though I said, oh, it's dorky to use a flag, I can't say that anymore because my life almost got cut short. So, and these videos would be no more. And you might say, Lisa, how is that technology? It is technology. We're talking about a lot of things here. We're talking about a wheelchair. We're talking about adding a gadget that could save our lives, that could, increase our visibility when people are backing up, especially. We could, this symbol should say enough, but sometimes the wheelchair doesn't, or they might not see it at all. If it's a truck and they're much higher, they're not going to see us at all. But if they see this flag, they're going to say, oh, that flag is connected to something down there. So that's what I'm talking about, being more visible, especially for higher trucks. And it has to be at least as high as a person is standing next to us. As high as a person is standing next to us. So that's kind of the measurement. So, that is, and that will help us, it doesn't have to be high, just as tall as a person is standing next to us. So if you're going into a bus or a van, so it doesn't get caught on the top of the door, when you're going in. So, or the person who's loading you, can lower the rod a little bit so you can get in with no problem. So, folks, what other ideas would you have to reduce the death rate of us in wheelchairs crossing a road, crossing a sidewalk, crossing a parking lot is what I meant to say. Lol. So, we got to reduce this. You and I have to work on ideas and possibly submit them to the city. And I want to see if I could write a letter and send it to the mayor and say, because I know they're improving, they got a federal funding to improve some of the roads here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because it snows and it freezes and then it unfreezes. The roads here get a lot of potholes, and the roads crack and buckle. So it's harsh weather. And so after a while, you have to start to repair those roads. And they got some kind of funding, and they're going to repair some roads, and they're going to improve some of the roads and add some roads. So I know that the Department of Transportation stated that, you can do all these roads, but you need to submit your plans to us first, and for us to review it. And if it's not complete and it doesn't have all that we want, we're sending it back to you for you to redo it. So I have hopes that they will add in safety measures for pedestrians and wheelchair users and people who are blind, and other people who are using canes and walkers to be able to get across safely. And that means, a lot of signage. That means good lighting. That means, good paint on the road. And, for people to be wise and prudent. I'm hoping that, the signage on the roads, I think in one video I put some creative signage that was painted on the roads, and it had like a safety zone around the curves that was much wider, and so the cars couldn't go into that safety zone. So when we're getting off that sidewalk, that we have a safety zone, to start with. So that would be an idea. The crosswalk itself was also painted in like 3D. It was a weird painting so that the cars would really see it in a different way from their angle. So it was 3D, and then they had painted on the crosswalk. They had people with wheelchairs and walkers painted into the crosswalk. So it was very original, and it was a reminder to the drivers to slow down and to stop really when they were told to stop. So there's many different ways, and I'll put those little examples on the video because it was very original, and I'll put them up here so you can see them. There they are. So they are incredible, and those are the kind of things that I know there's a kind of like a council that they formed, and I've seen some of their videos, and they do like conferences in which they talk about, they did airlines one day, and they did housing another day, and they did pedestrian type safety things another day. So they, I think our council that sends information, and they're an advisory, kind of like an advisory board to the Department of Transportation. So all these things are being talked about, and I think we are being included in this particular council. So, and they have some great ideas, some important ideas for us to also be included in these changes. And one of the things that that I want to suggest for you all that are in the market for new wheelchairs, especially power wheelchairs. Power wheelchairs are coming out with higher speeds. Mine only goes 4.5 miles per hour, I think. And that sometimes is not sufficient to get out of the way from some idiot who just jumped the stoplight. So I would recommend that, even though, your power wheelchair might be a simple power wheelchair, but there are simple power wheelchairs that can go 6 miles an hour. And so I'm thinking that, you know, there's a couple of technologies coming out for us to consider. And one of them is, you know, higher speeds to be able to cross the road in a more safer way, which is being able to go faster. That's one. The other one is they are making power wheelchairs with elevation, and that's one that I'm going to ask for, mainly because I can't get on my bed without hurting myself. So I'm hoping that the next power wheelchair that I'm able, you know, I can get the one that elevates, because I can't get into my bed, and I have to sleep in my, over here, my recliner, because I can't do the bed without hurting. So the other one would be have to have that elevation in which you can rise up about 12 inches and be more visible. So that's another way that we can increase safety in our visibility. So the elevation, 12 inches, I think it's about 12 to, I don't think they do 15, but the maximum I've seen is 12 inches. So that's another way of being safer when you cross a parking lot or a street. Let me see. So the flag, the speed, the elevation of the power wheelchair, and manual wheelchairs, you will have to really exercise those arms to go a little bit faster. and a flag. I think a flag would help manual wheelchair users. And if you have a small motor in the back, that will also help you get across the street a little bit faster. And, you know, but the flag will help you be more visible. And, you know, for trucks and buses and other cars, it might be a little bit higher and might not have seen you. You know, if they're distracted and looking at the radio or whatever, and the light turns green, you're still crossing, they haven't seen you at all, and they'll keep on going. So it's those situations that we need, all of us, to work on and to make sure that we are safer. And I think there's several things that we can do to make ourselves more visible and to prevent more accidents and more deaths of people using wheelchairs. So that's my invitation to you. My flag cost me, it's a good one, has a good clamp on it, and I just attached it to, I have like a trailer bar on the back of my power wheelchair, so I screwed it on back there, and I can just ask somebody to put on my flag and to raise it, and away I go. It's not visible during the day because the telescope, I have it, you know, the telescope bar, I have it all the way down. So, but what kind of things are you willing to do? You know, and you might say to me, well, at least I'm always in a van, I'm always in a car, so I'm really not crossing a road. So, and that's okay. I'm glad to hear that. I'm hoping you have a safe driver that's going from point A to point B. So, so that's one thing that's out of the scenario, that you're in a car, so you don't have to worry about crossing streets. But are you crossing parking lots? Because you probably are crossing parking lots at some point. So, but for the rest of us who are out there and we need to go from point A to point B, especially some of us have to use our power wheelchair or manual wheelchair as transportation, and we're crossing streets often, and we're going across parking lots often, that we make an effort or commit to ourselves to make sure that we're more visible and get a flag. This one, because it has, you know, some extra stuff on it, it cost me $26, but on Amazon. But those, and I showed you the model earlier in the video, but you know, there are ones that are a little bit cheaper, but you don't want to go too cheap. You know, you want it not slipping off or falling over or anything like that. You want it to be clamped on or screwed on in a good way, in a firm way, so that you don't have to be fooling around with it. but please consider it. Let's try, all of us, to reduce the number of death rates and to encourage our partners, our friends who have wheelchairs, to consider getting a flag and to be much more visible, or to get a power wheelchair that rises so that you are taller and more visible, or get a power wheelchair that goes at least 6 miles per hour and you can get across or get out of the way of whatever crazy driver is coming at you. What else? And or just not cross the street at all. So get a van, get a car. So now that would be a little bit too much to ask for, but if you're already saving up money to get a van or to get a car that is accessible, go for it. And that way you don't have to worry about at all crossing the streets. So yeah, let's, you and I, manual wheelchair users and power wheelchair users, to really encourage ourselves to make ourselves more visible on the road and through parking lots. I won't say any more. I'll drive you crazy. But those are some of the ideas I wanted to throw out on this Wheelchair Tech Friday, so that you will consider it and save up your pennies and get a good flag. Get some reflective tape or stickers to put on your manual wheelchair or power wheelchair so that you are visible. Because my power wheelchair lights up like a little Christmas tree, the bus sees me when it's coming. They see me because they have their lights on, and it, their lights hit my power wheelchair, and of course all the reflecting stickers, light up. So but anyway, I think the driver chuckles a little bit, but there's no way they're going to miss me on the sidewalk there. So anyway, I really just want, my hope and my wish is that we all do our best to be safer on the roads. And, even, the therapist, I wish they would encourage all of us, or for power wheelchairs and manual wheelchairs, to come with a flag, just part of, the sale. Here's your flag. We're going to connect it here so that, and you might say, well, I'll take it home and then, I'll put it on. So, but, those are the things that we can do for our own safety and to reduce these numbers of incredible accidents that happen out there. Anyway, that's all I had to say. And feel free, if this video was helpful and gave you some ideas, please subscribe. There are a lot of videos on this channel with, tips and tricks and ideas and stories. So feel free to subscribe and come on back, invite a friend, share the video. What else can you do? Like, because the likes help the videos spread around the YouTube world. And so likes and shares, of course, your own comments, your own stories about, how you have made yourself safer on the road or through parking lots, and what kind of things did you do? Let's see what else. I think that's about it. So likes and subscriptions are awesome. We're trying to get more subscribers and grow the channel, of course. So that's up to all of us to make this a community in which we share our stories and our adventures and what kind of things we did to improve XYZ situation. So thank you so much for coming and sharing this moment with me, and I will be very happy to see you in the next one.